Crypto Minimalist here. I'm still holding. The topic tonight is: does Mitch Theta Labs CEO, have inside information on a whale Wyckoff accumulation event that possibly crashed Bitcoin and had us trading sideways ever since? It sure is starting to look like that may be the case. But first, let's talk about what's going on with T-Fuel right now. So I woke up today to see T-Fuel down 30%. Of course, this is Bitcoin's world, and we all have to live in it with our altcoins. When Bitcoin dropped, I get that the trading bots do their thing, and they're triggered to sell off because they're predicting that. When Bitcoin falls, everything else falls with it. That's probably this drop. It's probably the second drop. Not so sure if it's this drop. This might be retail, and I just don't get it. Why you would sell at below 50 cents here when we're 8 days out from probably the largest catalyst in T-Fuel history, and maybe even Theta history. It's probably two things, and they're both very bad, because you would have to be insane, totally insane to sell right now. You just either have no stomach for this crypto deal, or you invested in the Theta project without any inkling of understanding. Because this is just a critical time for T-Fuel owners right now. I was unable to buy here. I'm waiting to see if we're going to retest near this 40 cents again. It looks like we have been dropping in the last hour or so. With Theta and T-Fuel, I do not keep money on an exchange to buy it. Because I'm in the United States, I do the swap sites, so I have to physically be there to buy, and I was asleep. So, what can you do? So we will go back and look at, in the previous video, I had this spreadsheet comparing Theta Mainnet 2.0 launch and the current Mainnet 3.0 launch. And it's just a shame that Bitcoin had to take a dump as we were entering. This week was supposed to be a tremendous bull run for T-Fuel and eventually Theta as well. And we were going right along with 2.0 here. A nice couple days last week. At the end of last week, another nice day. We kind of had a crappy weekend like we were supposed to, but then we should have been in the green right now, but we unfortunately have a Bitcoin problem, and we are very far behind the 2.0 progression at this point. So I'm afraid those large numbers, we're not going to hit them. My $2 to $3 T-Fuel prediction, I hate to say, is dead on arrival. I think we can easily get to $1. We are behind, but hopefully we will start to make that up here. So that Bitcoin problem, I now want to look at, may be this Wyckoff chart that has been all over Twitter, all over the cryptoverse in May and June, with the theory that the whales, once we hit that all-time high of 60,000, they crashed the price of Bitcoin so that they could accumulate a ton of it down here, because it was too high for them to buy, and they wanted to buy a ton down here before they take the price back up again. And the Wyckoff is this theory of, in the stock market, to where you're able to manipulate the price and keep it down here long enough to buy your target, what you need. You got all these crazy up and downs. It's I don't know, you got like W's everywhere. I don't know too much about it. What I do notice is the price of Bitcoin, oddly enough, kind of mirrors this Wyckoff chart pattern. And we are near the bottom of it. It looks like we're near the end of the cycle here. We get this little spring point down here at this 30-ish thousand support, and supposedly there's a lot of talk that Bitcoin, it's almost this, all this sideways trading right here is just pent up energy that's gonna coil spring and bust up, and we'll crash through this 40,000 resistance, flip it to support, and then take off, shoot off again to the $60,000 all-time high. What I want to see here is right here, this top point right here where we test this, we first begin to test the $40,000 resistance. Do you notice anything about this date? Does it look familiar to anyone? June 30th is mainnet 3.0 launch date. So, is it a coincidence that Mitch Liu, oddly enough, seems to be playing his hand perfectly? He probably has whale connections. Is it possible that they told him about the big Bitcoin crash from 60,000? Because initially the 3.0 launch was at the end of April. We had a large run up in March, and then Mitch Liu postponed it to where we're at, to the date now, June 30th. Did he know all the way back then that this was going to happen? And he now has it timed perfectly to when all the momentum from Theta and T-Fuel comes in, that then it's going to carry and follow the Bitcoin momentum all the way up to retest the Bitcoin all-time high again. Because if he had left the launch in April, that drop, that huge 50% drop in Bitcoin would have taken all that momentum we had and just thrown it in the trash can. And who knows what price we'd be looking at in a month from now. I'm fairly certain it'd be much lower. So I don't think it's a coincidence. Mitch has timed this up too perfectly for this just to be random. Alright guys, I'm going to continue to be watching how Theta and T-Fuel react as this story continues to unfold. Please stay tuned for daily updates as we make the final push towards the mainnet 3.0 launch on June 30th.